All right, here we go. Welcome to the show. This is Gnoll-Vember. We are going to be painting up some gnolls. Actually, I'm going to keep assembling gnolls right now. So, anyhow, assembling gnolls. Gnolls, gnolls, gnolls. Gnolls, buddy, gnolls. Come on, Pumpkin. Can I have my seat? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Folks, if you want the finest in feline friendship streams, this is it. You found it. All right, Pumpkin. I gotta put you out, man. Put you out on the couch. All right, buddy. All right. I wish I could keep him in here more often, but he tends to get into places and things he shouldn't. So anyhow, let's see. My social stream ninja is not working for some reason, so we're gonna have to go old school and bring this stuff up to usual way we've been doing it, so I can watch all the chats from all the places. So we got everyone. All right, so we got everybody pulled up. So as you know, this is Gnoll-Vember. So I'm working on a Gnoll warband. There's no business like Gnoll business, I know. So I primed these guys up. I based them. I primed them up last week. And of course you're probably saying, well, you weren't on Thursday. Well, schedule's a little weird right now, so Thursdays is weird. For the time being, it is what it is. So anyhow, if you are here and you haven't gotten a chance to help raise a little money for the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, if you're watching over here on Twitch, feel free to hit the little button down there for the donation. This is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, so I want to be aware of that. Especially moving into the darker months where we have supposedly less sunshine, but when your day starts later, you wind up getting dark earlier. I don't know. I'm just saying, conspiracy theories abound. But as it is, the cold, the dark, the overcast can really wreak havoc with your overall happiness and well-being. So, by all means, if you have more than a couple of days of being blue out of the season, you may have seasonally affected disorder or depression. So it's something that you could probably talk to a doctor about, and maybe they can help you out or prescribe you 6 weeks of sunshine in fantastic Florida. Florida, it's fantastic. Florida is the greatest place. If you need sunshine, go there in the wintertime. All right, so I'm looking for some more bases because I've got more gnolls to put on bases. So we got a gnoll leader here. We've got 3 gnoll warriors. So here's my plans, right? So here's the plans for this warband. So 3 gnoll warriors, right? Axes, buckler, little shield there. So 3 of these guys lined up with one of these guys. So this dude here, this is The package calls this guy Bloodmane Gnoll Warrior. So I got another one of him. That is 77236 from Reaper. These are all Reapers. These are all Reaper miniatures I'm working with, because stylistically they're all the same. So this cat here, I'll need to fix his what's it there. But you can tell they've got similar shields, but he's a little bit smaller. But anyway, he's going to be a group leader. And so there you go. So group leader, one group of archers, 3 archers, and 3 warriors. Each group is going to be led by a warrior. And then this guy is the big dog, the actual chieftain kind of guy. So looking forward to having that all done. So let me find a round base to put this dude on, and we'll go ahead and continue to base tonight. And I'll probably hold off on really painting much until I get everybody based up and primed. That way I can just start slamming through the whole bunch of them. So if you are watching and you just tuned in, welcome. This is the Pocket Dimension, where we paint all the things. I'm JP Got Rockets, and sometimes we have visits from Professor Pumpkin, who is the chief scientist, the chief most researcher at the feline-funded Department of Gravimetric Studies. And this is Gnoll-Vember, so I will be building and painting gnolls this month, a warband for Song of Blades and Heroes. Of course, I could use them for any miniatures agnostic game, so that's not a problem. I'm just digging out appropriately sized bases. Which these bases are pretty big. I think they're 40 millimeter, something like that, all told. So that guy, 3 more for the other Gnoll leaders or warriors, and there you go. So let's see what we got. See, we got more of these little bases here. I may have to order some more from Reaper. Let's see, here's another one. There's another one. Hey, DD Minis, how's it going? How's the day been treating you? So, of course, good to see you in the chat, DD. I've been thinking about you a little bit, wondering how you been. I was hoping, I meant to ask the other day when I saw you in, how was your recovery? If you are back to food again. So recovery is going good. Great. Good to hear. Did you have to go into work today? Because I worked today, but it was kind of neat. It's kind of funny how this week's schedule worked out. I didn't have a lot going on yesterday, and I was supposed to go to this project yesterday afternoon, but the project that I was soft food since I left, pretty much normal food again. Good. I didn't have to go to work today. Good. A little day off for everything there. Yeah, the university was closed too, so the gentleman whose house I had to go work at today, he was home all day, so that was it was actually kind of helpful having the occupant there, having the customer there. So, hey Miar, how's it going? Extremely crunch time, small competition from Modifius. Nice. Well, I hope you'll do great, Miar. Your work is terrific. So hopefully great recognizes great. So of course, so far we've raised $66 for the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. So that's still going. I know Miar has donated. Black Skull has donated. Midril has donated. Gravenly Studios has donated. So my photos suck. Yeah, sometimes I do. Sure, if you say so. Let's see. I was wondering why I couldn't see anything. It's because I didn't have all the lights turned on yet. So, the 11th day of the 11th hour of the 11th month. World War I ended. Unfortunately, it was not the war to end all wars. One day there will be a final war, for sure. Well, I think sometimes if you take, sometimes it's just a matter of taking a little extra time to take some pictures. Miar, you'll have good ones, you'll have bad ones. I have good ones and I have bad ones. I should take more pictures. I've lately not been taking any pictures. So, it is what it is, But, still have to practice my pic taking, more so the lighting. Yeah, there's a lot of really great tutorials. Look up I know you know Louise Sugden's channel. She did a little video on taking better pictures. I think, and who else has done that? So light boxes are good. It's not a bad idea, but some of the better. There are some people that take really amazing pictures that don't use a light box. So I've been trying to go. I moved the light box out of here, so I'm not using it right now. When I part of setting up my studio last winter, this past winter, taking time off, was to have space to set up a better place for taking pictures. But yeah, that hasn't happened yet. So it's all a work in progress, you know. So all a work in progress. Anyhow, we'll have our 3 archers ready tonight. Mostly, well, not ready, but it's it's Miar's fault. I know it. Oh, Miar. Everybody picks on Miar. He's got big shoulders. He can take it. No, but the thing is, you know what's funny is growing up. Sometimes you get, oh, it's so mean. It's so mean to pick on somebody. Well, what happens is the people that don't like it, usually you hear it from your mom or girlfriends or girls in class. Why do you pick on him all the time? Well, there's bullying, okay, and then there's picking on people. Bullying is not right, but sometimes we pick on our friends because it's fun. They can handle it, and if we aren't picking on you, it's because we don't like it. That's just part of being men. Remember, this is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and there is a live fundraiser on my Twitch stream here, so feel free to make a small donation to the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They're not just there to talk to. They've got all sorts of little programs they can line you up with, and ways to help you develop coping strategies for whatever you're going through. Remember this, we are moving into the cold and dreary months that can have an effect on people's mental health, not just men but women as well. So definitely take advantage of the 988 mental health line there, because they're not just about suicide and crisis. They are really about mental health in general. So drop a couple of dollars in if you want and help out a worthy cause. That's what it's there for. And if you haven't subscribed, feel free to subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Drop a couple of dollars for a subscription over on Twitch. Believe it or not, there are 70. My channel has 70 give subscriptions up for grabs, so I don't know how that works. I got that notice today, and I don't know what that means. Do I give out gift subscriptions? I can't spend that kind of money. But my computer is starting to sound like a lonely Wookiee. So I'm going to have to get a new computer here before too long. And then if we can reach the $250 goal of supporting the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, the next fundraiser is going to be for Sierra's Haven, which is a local no-kill shelter, animal rescue group, who does a lot of good work in the area. So if you like kitty cats and you like little doggies, and you want them all to have a home, consider a donation when I get that one up and going. Hey, DD! All right, $25. DD is tonight's hero for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Thank you very much, DD. Appreciate that. So that can go a long way. So now that takes us up to let's see. That takes us up to $91. We are at $91. We're not quite halfway there to the mark, but if you are watching this on VOD or you're watching this from a foreign country, as I know some of you do, feel free to make your contribution too. I believe it will work on foreign dollars, Australian dollars, Canadian dollars. You are more than welcome to also donate. If you're watching on the VOD, the button is live on my landing page at all times. So if you're watching at YouTube, you can pop over to Twitch and make a donation. If you're watching on Rumble, you can pop over to Twitch and make a donation, as you will, if you wish. So there is that opportunity. Need to start doing VODs. Well, I've got my VODs turned on, and of course, as an affiliate, they only last for 7 days. Or is it 7 or is it 14? Anyway, whatever that is. But because I'm multi-streaming out to Rumble and YouTube, they stay persistent on Rumble and YouTube all the time. And you would not believe there's people that tune in and watch 20, 30 minutes at a time of those VODs on those channels. You'd be surprised. It surprises me awful lot because I'll see 5 or 6 views and then I'll see all of a sudden like 25, 30 views. It's pretty wild, man. Don't be afraid of uploading over on one of the other platforms, DD. It doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt at all. And but thanks for that that donation, $25. Let's see, we've had so many great people make donations. A little bit goes a long way. So but yeah, tell you right now, I'm covered up in work. It's crazy. I work tonight. I put a Tesla charger in a gentleman's house. So that's that was an interesting little project. So we upgraded from 50 amps to 60 amp. So I'm going to use the heat gun real quick. Alright. Heat gun was used on this axe right here. So that is now straight. I'm going to dunk it in the paint water because it's cold water. And I haven't put any paint in there yet, so hopefully that will lock it in. And I'm going to leave that axe a little bit crooked. because maybe he used a crooked stick to make the axe handle there. And this one came out of the factory pretty good. Pretty good. So, not going to worry about that one. But we're going to go ahead and put these guys on bases. So, I'm thinking gnolls. Gnolls are... They kind of look like hyenas. So, I'm going to try to maybe paint them up more like hyena men. And, yeah, so they're... I would consider that they probably live in plains and savannas as opposed to mountains and the like. But I've got some bugbears that I'll probably base up like maybe in the snow. I don't know. I'm really not sure. Although there is a Larry Elmore. I think it's Larry Elmore. It could be a Keith Parkinson. Artwork where there are some gnolls that are tracking somebody through a snowy landscape. So I was thinking about doing these guys up with snow bases, but I may do somebody else up. I may do another war band up with snowy bases. Maybe bugbears. They're a furry bunch, you know. So anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and glue this dude. Start gluing these dudes to their base. Let's key that up a little bit. Unlike metal, I don't know that I really need metal works. Metal figures benefit from keying the base more than plastic figures, I think. So I don't think I'll be streaming on Thursday this week. Didn't stream on Thursday last week either. I've got some other things going on, so nothing of any concern. But just a little bit of a schedule change lately. Which I know I haven't been on Thursday for a couple of weeks, which is why. Ah. But I'm thinking next year, for next year's streams, I'm thinking, well, for my projects overall, I need to start hobbying more when I'm not on stream. I've just not been able to do much hobby off stream, just because life is life. All right, we are going to get rid of that. Ban it and report it. Bots, no bots. Thank you, bots. Submit report and block the user. All right. Oh, awesome. Posted something in Discord. Let's see what Miar's put in the Discord. Miar put something in the Discord. I gotta learn how to bring Discord up on stream here before one of these days. 3 years, almost 4 years of streaming now, and there are things that I don't know how to do yet. I've just been kind of cruising. Oh wow, nice. I like that glow. I guess that glow is coming from the moth. But that's a teeny tiny moth. Wow. Wow, Miar. That is impressive. Oh wow, are the wings like actually translucent, or did you paint that effect in? That is amazing. Nice base. Wow. Wow, that is some amazing base work. Sweet. Miar, you are amazing, man. That is some really terrific stuff. Sheesh. Painted it in. Yeah. I saw the... Wow. That is terrific. Most impressive. I'd say if you could get to Origins, you could enter into the Open. I'm sure you'd definitely, some of your work, I think you'd definitely score golds. It's a happy little forest. Nice. You'd either score at least a high silver, if not a gold, and some of that stuff might even take you to like best in category. At least. I mean, I think it really stinks that Adepticon doesn't have an open painting competition. They're all sponsored by companies, which the closest thing to an open would be the Resin Beast. But I just don't have, I don't know. That one, I'm not sure. Oh, well, I don't know that you have to necessarily feel confident, Miar. I think you just have to do it. You know? I think you got it, man. Like, your stuff is terrific. You should at least... The thing is even... Like, when I won those 2 bronzes, I wasn't expecting to even really place. And I was just happy to get those. You know, but the important thing, the great thing about those competitions, the Open, like at Origins, the Origins Open, is the best thing about them is that you get feedback. And that is, to me, the feedback is priceless. Even if I didn't necessarily agree with it, you know, I can still use it to my advantage later on. Because it's okay to not agree with the feedback, but at the same time, it's done out of a spirit of wanting to help you be better. And that's really all those competitions are for. Like the open competitions are really there more for you to bring your skills up as opposed to being competitive against other people. It's kind of like golf, you're competing against yourself for the best score you can get. You're not really competing against anybody else. Well, sure there is competitive golf, but the open competitions like Nova Open, same thing. You're there to compete against the rubric. That is, there's a standard by which they're judging. So you're kind of competing against the rubric to see if you're checking off all the boxes and to the extent the mastery that you have over those aspects of your miniatures work. It's not like a golden demon where you're competing against other people. And even the golden demon has kind of brought the competition against other painters. It's kind of brought that down a little bit. It's not quite so adversarial. It's got more of that open. They're kind of leaning more towards that open style judging because a lot more people are getting what's called like commended or notable entries. So you always will walk away. Well, not always. If your work's not great, you're not going to walk away with anything. But you're still going to have those finalists that are outstanding. But there are notable and commendable entries. So they're kind of leaning into that level of I hope not. They're kind of leaning into that level of why'd you cut yourself, Miar? I hope not. No blood here. The workshops competition is leading into the whole kind of what's the word I'm looking for? They're trying to encourage painters to paint better. Cultivate. That's the word I'm looking for. They're trying to help cultivate the hobby. Adversarial. Advisceral. Yeah. I get you. I got the joke. Adversarial. Adversarial. But yeah, they've kind of backed off from the adversarial spirit of that particular competition. But it's just kind of too bad that there is no open competition at Adepticon. Everything's tied up with the sponsors, Like I said, the closest thing to an open is going to be the Resin Beast for right now, anyway. Seems like. Now these seem to be still the soft bones PVC, which I wonder if I got out my PVC glue PVC to ABS glue. I wonder if I could actually glue those together with pipe compound. I'm just crazy enough to try it, but I don't think I want to try it on this particular project. Maybe a later project. Well, I'm looking for some more of these clamps here. I thought I had some more. Oh well. All right, let's see. And here is the other boss here. So you can see the similarities between these two fellers here. I think they really are about the same, but they stopped making this one for some reason, and they gave him an axe instead of the flail. So, I don't know. Don't understand it. But they did add some more details, too. So he's got like he's got some skulls hanging off of his belt. He's got a little dagger, looks like. A little knife. But pretty much, he's got some pouches. So a little bit different. So let me soften up that axe there and use the old heat gun. And let's see. That's really floppy. Really floppy there. So what I could do, probably a better choice would be just to go ahead and chop that axe off anyway. Use the head of it and use a little piece of styrene rod. Let's go ahead and see if we can lock that in. Alright, I think it is what it is. That looks particularly bestial. Not great. I mean, I still might cut that off and replace it with another piece. I'm not sure. So, but we're going for another hour here tonight, folks. So it's 9:46. It's almost time for a little break. But we'll be going for another hour until about 11 o'clock. As per usual. as per the usual. So, if you are just joining, if you're watching on YouTube, hey, how about a like, share, and subscribe? If you're on Rumble, how about a like, what is it? Follow, or share? I don't know what it is. I don't know what they do on Rumble. Do they follow or do they subscribe? But either way, you know what to do. Do all the things. Do the things down below. The like, the share, the subscribe. If you're watching on Twitch and you haven't followed, how about a follow? And if you'd like to help me get a new computer, how about a subscription? But in lieu of all of those, why don't you go ahead and make a contribution to the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline that I am currently running a fundraiser for right here on Twitch. Just hop over to Twitch and hit that subscription, that donation button, big purple button. That big purple button right down here in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. That'd be real great. DD Minis put us up to $91 tonight. He donated $25. So between Miar and Black Skull and Midril and DD Minis and Gravenly Studios, so far we've reached the $91 point, and there's other people that I know, and I'm sorry, I have the memory of a goldfish sometimes, and I know other people have donated, and somebody else did here a while back, but I've not seen them come back and chat here lately. So if I don't see you on a regular basis, sometimes I forget who you are. So definitely be regular. Not that regular. Regular, not regular. You know what I mean. Not that kind of regular. Miar says he's staying up a bit late for this competition. So it's online, Miar? And are they judging tonight? Is that what Modifius is doing? So that was a Skyrim figure that you were working on? Or is it just that you're staying up late to work on it tonight? When does it tell us about the competition, Miar, if you've got a minute to type that out. I know I know you're probably working hard on your entry, so if you can't type, that's fine, but I don't really know anything about it. I guess I could look it up. So is it by Modifius proper then? Let me Google. I'm going to Google that. Modifius painting competition. Here we go. Modifius Facebook competition updates. 4 months ago, Modifius paint competition. There's a year ago. Recent ones. Modifius official website. Let's see what there is here. Doesn't say. Okay. Mini Factory. Modifius, do the 13th. Okay. Ah, okay, here it is. I see it. My Mini Factory. Let's see. Yeah, that was from a different one. They must do a lot of different competitions over the year, because I see all sorts of things. My Mini Factory competition entry. Thank you. Siren's Oath, Fighting Fantasy. Oh, Fighting Fantasy. Nifty. Skyrim Call to Arms. Is that it? Yep, from 10th of September to the 14th of November. So it's the 11th, so you've got 3 days to finish that up, Miar. Very cool. Let's see what that's all about. No, they just do that. Enter the comp. I don't want to enter the competition. Filled with never before released STLs, Steam and Shadow. Steam and Shadow. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Oh, I recognize some of this stuff. The Flame of Atronach from the Frontier page. Nice. So, very cool. Sark's Foundry. Did you enter the Flame of Atronach that you did, Miar? Do the 13th now, I think. Okay, maybe they changed it. From 10th to September to the 14th of November is what it says here, but you know better than I do. I mean, the 13th is, that's what you're trying for? Yeah, that's not a bad idea. There's nothing wrong with being early to competition entry. Did you enter in the one with the Flame of Atronach? Is that the one that you posted up? And then you're doing the base for the Flame of Atronach? Is that what it is? Because I remember the Flame of Atronach up here. Yeah, okay. And then now you've got a little place for her to stand, looks like, in the woods there. So yeah, cool. Cool. All right. Well, you're going to do terrific, man. I think you're going to just do absolutely terrific. So, there's some really good looking stuff on that website there. There's some OSL coming off of it on this other one by Serenity Minis. But probably what you shouldn't do, Miar, is don't look at other people's entries. Just keep concentrating on what you're doing. So, yeah, but it's looking terrific, Miar. I think you're definitely going to be a notable entry there. I think people are definitely going to notice it. For sure. Absolutely. All right. So this is Togra, the Gnoll leader. Let's go ahead and get him on base. Alright, so this is the Gnoll leader, so they say. Though I would think that he's more like a shaman or something like that. So, but it said leader on his package, but that doesn't mean anything. And since it's Song of Blades and Heroes, you got to have a caster in the bunch, right? Just like in Texas, if you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band. But if you want to have warband in Song of Blades and Heroes, probably a good idea to have a caster in your bunch. Let's try to hide some of that. We lost a little detail just trying to get that one mold line off. Of course, these are bones figures, and I'm not too worried about getting all the mold lines off of these guys just for playing Song of Blades and Heroes. You know, not worried too much about it. Myar says he's just trying to make it as Skyrimish as possible. I dig that. I get that. Makes sense to me. So this this super glue is not setting up tonight, and I think it's because it is cold in here. It's a little cold, so let's see. So I think that's probably why the glue's not setting up really quick. I mean, if I give it enough time, it will set up, but we'll throw a little bit of kicker onto it. Just a little drop. Just a little drop of kicker. Well, yeah, I mean that serves to reason, Myar, that you would make it as Skyrimish as possible. I mean, because it is, you know, a Skyrim call to arms based competition, so leaning into the theme is never a bad idea, especially of an IP, right? So let's I'm gonna heat up his little whisk here. So we got that whisk going on. Hopefully it'll set, it'll cool off and hold that shape there. Because it was kind of all bended down there, but so now there we go. We got 3 warriors led by this dude. We got 3 archers led by this dude. So there's your lieutenants and their units. That's pretty cool. I'm having fun putting this together. So he's got these bones lashed together for his stick there. And then he's got this little whisk thing. Looks like that's what you use to keep flies away. Looks like a cow's tail of some sort, you know? But Song of Blades and Heroes doesn't get too deep into too many things. It's not too involved. Basically what it is your casters can do one of two things. They can freeze somebody or they can shoot somebody. They can blast somebody or they can freeze them. There's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot of variety there. So, see if I can scrape this. You know, I've been trying to scrape those letters off like an idiot when I've got sandpaper right here in front of me. So I was thinking about making these hyena men, these gnolls. I was thinking about making them like ochre, like this color, with like blue or, you know, dyed manes. But then I was looking at things like, you know, hyenas, and I realized that hyenas are kind of, they almost have a coloration like a coyote. So I think with this primer color here, which is dark yellow, which is Vallejo dark yellow primer. So basically Dunkelgelb, if you're into scale modeling and building tanks, that's the color that you would normally call Dunkelgelb, dark yellow or dark gold. So I figure I'll give everybody with that particular undercoat, which I think it will probably be good to use that for the basis of that more coyote sort of a look, you know, that coyote coloration that gnolls, at least as portrayed, gnolls seem to have that coloration. And then they've got spots up around their shoulders and the like, their forelegs. So I'll paint them like that. I'll kind of lean into that. I'll get some reference photos. But I think I still might have these guys each have a different, or each group has its own coloration of manes, maybe. But I was going to lean into do a more cartoony coloration, but I think I'm going to go with a more realistic coloration, which I think I'll save the cartoony coloration for the bugbears. So the bugbears are going to be ochre with blue hair, blue manes. I think that might be a good idea. You know why? Because there's no business like no business like no business I know. You know what else? Let me drop some knowledge on you. Oh, what can I say? Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. So anyhow, I kind of not sure whether I want to paint these up the way I wanted to paint them up, or if I want to go more with a realistic look. And do I want to kind of go with that art piece, like that art piece that it's either a guy, it's either a what you call it? It's either Keith Parkinson or Larry Elmore, but it's got gnolls in a winter setting, and they're hunting somebody. I should see if I can pull that up here while I try to let this guy dry up. I'm going to use a little flash tack here. It's not flash tack. Well, I mean flash tack, whatever you call it. Zip kicker, flash tack. It's all the same stuff. Different companies bottle it. A lot of companies, like this is 2014 Extreme Power, Oklahoma City. But I guarantee that this is bottled by Bob Smith Industries, which I know this is BSI, Bob Smith. But these are white labels from other, it's made by Bob Smith, but everybody puts their sticker on it. So it all comes out of the same barrels, Just like this says Hobbytown on it, but it's Zip Kicker. Zip Kicker is a brand name, but I guarantee it's from Bob Smith Industries. So let's see. I was going to look up I was going to look up that piece of art. Let me see if I can find it on the tablet here. Again, I wish I knew how to bring stuff in, but also if I start looking at things on my computer, I think it would probably crash. It's starting to sound like a lonely Wookiee here, so that's not it. It's probably... Oh, well. So there is... That's not Larry Elmore. But that's a Gnoll. So that's what we're going to go with, I think. Something in that area. That gray with slight buff color. I think it might be a Keith Parkinson or a Clyde Caldwell, maybe. So this is like, that's more of a coyote in the wintertime, but there was something else. I replaced mine a year or two ago. So it was not the fan; it was the system, the fan. Oh, yeah. I mean, I've got a. It's a laptop, so I don't know if it takes a fan or if it's the hard drive making that kind of sound. Let's see. Let's look up Keith Parkinson. Orcs in the Snow. So there's his Orcs in the Snow. I think that's Keith Parkinson. So maybe it's I was sure that I saw somebody that had a hunting scene in the snow, and it was gnolls. I mean, there was the coyote necromancer there, which is really weird. Um, I guess I could just look at somebody's page there. Let's see. Keith Parkinson artist. Let's see. Let's look at his website here. Artwork. I mean, these guys have got thousands of pieces of art that they did over the years for the gaming industry. Find that one specific piece could take hours. Hmm. Maybe maybe it was a Jeff Easley. I wonder. I don't think it was an Easley. I don't believe it was. You know, you always see a piece of art, and then by the time you get around to wanting to find it, you can't find it. Maybe it was an Elmore. I don't know. I don't. No, there's Aveline the Life Giver. That's another wintertime picture right there. But that's not the one I'm looking for. Maybe it is a Clyde Caldwell. I don't know. Very possible. Let's look at his website here. Let's check the gallery. I don't think it's a Clyde Caldwell either. Maybe that's the one I thought it was the one with the coyote in the swamp there. With the swamp and the wintertime, swamp in the wintertime is a weird one. Maybe that's the one I thought it was. I don't see it. I don't think it's any of, I don't think it was any of Caldwell's works. Excuse me. Well, I can't find it. Anyhow, so I think because these guys are hyena men-ish, they're hyenas, I think what I'll do is I'll probably paint them with grasses, tall grasses. I think I'll get some tall grass at the hobby shop because I saw some the other day and I was like, hey, I don't really have use for tall grass with the sun-baked, sort of sunburnt grass look. But now I think I might. So these guys may live on a savanna or out in the plains, so I think that's what I'll go with. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and start basing. Start basing these guys up. Sounds like a scene. Yeah, it makes sense to have it. You know, I want to have everything tied together. So, and maybe even, you know, paint a backdrop for them. You know, like I've got these backdrops that I painted like that. So he wouldn't fit there very well, I think. So maybe something that looks kind of more sub-Saharan, you know, to display them in. Something like that. But the paint jobs are going to be display quality, but the figures themselves, because they're cheap PVC plastic, I'm not going to wrestle getting a lot of the mold lines off. Again, they're for playing and letting people play with them and getting bashed around. I'm not going to be too overly fastidious about making them super duper super. You know, I want them to be where people can see them and get a nice view of them and, you know, have a good paint job. Really, you know, basically, I'm kind of going against my own advice that I often give. You know, get those mold lines taken care of and, you know, get your prep work done really nicely for a really nice job. But because these are PVC, man, I'm not even going to wrestle with it, you know. So not even going to wrestle with it. Because if I go to a lot of trouble, you know, that's the great thing about the PVC figures too, is you don't have to worry about them breaking or being dropped, you know. So if you bring your nice, well painted metal figures out, or resin or whatever, there's a chance they could get damaged. And while most of it is repairable, who really wants to go through all that, right? So if you're gonna introduce people to gaming and you want to play a nice simple little game, Song of Blades and Heroes or its variants is a great way to go. There's also a couple of games that I picked up. I went to a little games day here, I guess end of September maybe? No, I don't remember when it was. It was at a brewery up in Chillicothe, and I got to play one of my favorite games, which is called A Song of Drums and Tomahawks, which is a historical version of Song of Blades and Heroes, written by Mike DeMena. But usually I am seek and destroy heavy duty on mold lines, but because these are cheap for play, they're more play than pay. They're going to be durable, and because the material is not conducive to really being easy to clean up, not going to worry too much about it. Though I will do nice base work on them as best I can. I don't think I'll do quite as nice base work as Miar does. But I'll tell you what, Miar is pushing forward on that competition project there for the Modifius competition, and it is beautiful. That's the thing about competition, though, is enjoy the experience. Don't expect anything. That looks pretty decent. Yar says, I'm doing things I've never done, and I know you could do some great things. I probably could. Everybody can do great things if they put their minds to it. Try things, step outside that comfort zone, try things you've never tried before. You never know where a little extra effort is going to take you. Miar says he's got a great idea. Last time you said that, we wound up... Well, we can't talk about what happened. I always get nervous when Miar says, I've got a great idea. You promised you'd never do that again. After I'm done with this Friday, I need to rebuy some laser cut plants. What if I sent you a little package? That'd be fine. That'd be fine. I would appreciate that. You're more than welcome to send me stuff. You got my address, I think. I won't tell if you don't. Right? Cool. That's pretty good there. Yeah, if I had that might take my basing game up a notch or two, huh? Miar, I could do it up like you. You do it like you. Oh yeah. Well, the thing is I was thinking about the way I paint, the way I approach these projects, and I feel like on some level I've plateaued, because my style, the way I do things, is very 1990s, late 90s, early 2000s Games Workshop style, heavy metal at the time. So I'm not really leaning into a lot of the things that people are doing right now. It's just kind of something that I adopted. It's my way of doing things, and I had to ask myself, am I happy doing it that way? And you know what? I'm happy doing it that way. Would I like to take some classes from some people that are much better at doing these things, that have things, certain methods dialed in? Would it help me? I'm sure it would. Would it increase my enjoyment of the hobby? I don't know. That's a question, isn't it? It's a question that the answer to me is I don't know. Because a lot of that goes to, what am I trying to get out of the hobby? Am I enjoying it? I enjoy the hobby, for sure, obviously. Am I trying to be the next Ramon Lapod or Sam Lenz? Certainly not. I want to be the first JP Got Rockets. So do I want to paint like everybody else? Because you know my thinking is, and I think that a lot of people, they want to learn how to paint from these illuminaries, which is fine, but I think that when everybody drinks from the same well, everybody's getting the same water. You know, you're never gonna drink whiskey if you're drinking from the same well. I don't know what that means, but it sounds impressive. You're never going to get to drink orange juice if you're drinking from the same well as everybody else. And I don't begrudge anybody their experience. And when you're the best painters in the world, two of the best painters ever, have really elevated, especially Ramon. Ramon has elevated miniature painting to fine art. He's added a lot of things, and he's gotten away from sticking to just, say, Warhammer or gaming miniatures. He's really doing a lot of interesting things with dioramas and just the art level, the level of artistry altogether. The things that he's doing, the places he's taking it as an art form as opposed to just a hobby. Pretty impressive. Would I like to learn from a lot of those guys? Sure, absolutely. Do I want to paint like them? No. I want to paint like me. I'd like to learn some of those methods, and I think I can incorporate them. But if I start incorporating those methods over time, am I getting the same results as the teachers that teach me? Right? That's where finding that style between the things you learn, the methods, the techniques, whatever you want to call it, the way you apply them, and then the way you make them your own. That's a really odd subject to consider, I think. just because you've learned something and just because you apply it, have you made it your own? And that's the thing is, again, you've heard me talk, if you've watched the channel for any length of time, you've heard me talk about the early days of the internet and sites like when Cool Mini or Not was an actual site instead of a company. You could tell certain painters, you could tell people's styles. Not so much anymore, because everybody's out there doing the same stuff the same way. And we all want good results, for sure. But how do we get good results? How do we use other people's ways of doing things, get good results, and make it our own? Look at Black Skull. He's learned so much, but he paints his own work. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You can always tell when Black Skull's done something. He's leaned. He's learned a lot, and I think he took art in college, like serious art classes. Too, so he knows a lot of things. But he's got a style that he likes. He's got a style that he's developed. And he's like, hey, this is fun, and he has fun doing it. And he's won some awards with his way of doing things. Again, he's winning awards doing things his way rather than trying to cop somebody else's way of doing things. He found what was fun for him. Yes, exactly, Miar. I think sometimes people take certain classes to say that they've taken classes with, painter XYZ from so-and-so place. And that's fine, too. If that's what gets their... If that's what rustles their jimmies, then that's great. Like Sam Lenz gave a class a couple of months ago up in Columbus. It was expensive. Would have liked to have gone. I had no problem taking a class from the man. And he's a chill guy. I've got no beef with the man by any means. This world is too small for having beefs anyway. And our hobby's pretty cool. I just don't I haven't really seen too many people with beefs, you know. You get into some of the other fandoms where people have strong opinions about certain things from time to time, and it gets downright ridiculous. But as far as miniatures painting side of tabletop gaming goes, it's really chill. I really appreciate that. I tell you, I follow a lot of people in the gaming and rules side of things, and sometimes things can be pretty heated. Personalities clash. People get dogmatic. Well, the guy that wrote these rules back in 1970 in Blurk said this, and so if you're not playing this way, then you're not playing the right way, and it's just kind of wacky. Just wacky. Now, this base looks like he's standing on maybe cracked earth. So maybe I shouldn't fill sand in on this. I don't know. Because what I could do is put green stuff on there and continue on with that cracked earth. But I don't think I will. Again, that's going too far for what these figures are going to be used for what they are. I think that would be going a little too far. So I don't think I want to do that. Yeah, Miar, I know. I know, you told me about that. But that's a whole different reason for beef, and that's actually kind of understandable. But I'm kind of getting more towards the way that people get really, I hate to use the word religious about certain concepts in gaming, but sometimes they just get real religious about certain concepts in gaming, you know. It's like, chill, man. It ain't your eternal soul that you got to worry about. It's not. This is not a challenge to your eternal life here. Let's see. So obsessed with rules, or no, the where it has felt there on the other's idea because it tells a story of how the black blah blah. Yeah, right. Alright, I think I've got everybody based up, mostly. And if I missed a spot, well, I'll just flock it. Where is the tops of this tub? Alright. There's the top of that tub. Put it over there. Alright, so I've got everybody based up. And I think, what time is it right now? It is 10 till 11, so we made pretty good time. So, these are the rest of those guys. So there's the leader. We got the dudes with the axes. They got the axes because they got the faxes. So what you could even do is you could even have these two guys as the you'd have those two guys as the bodyguard for the leader there. You could have these three guys as, you know, axe guys, obviously, and then you got these three guys as archers. So that's pretty cool looking little war band. So you could have him doing his thing, and these guys could be each leading a group like this, right? Or whatever, you know. So that would make a really neat, nifty looking war band for Song of Blades and Heroes, I think. So, alright, well, that's it. I think we got 10 minutes left, so I think that's going to be it for tonight's stream. Oh, come on now. Have I played any Song of Ice and Fire yet? No, I haven't. No, I have not played any Song of Ice and Fire yet. I'll have to find opponents for it. I mean, I guess I could... you have a secret. Uh-oh. Well, don't put your secret out on the internet, Miar. If you tell your secret here, it's not a secret. It's going to be forever. I bought 2 starters. Oh, nice. Very cool. Which factions? Or was it the same faction? Because I got the Night Watch. What'd you get? The Free Peoples is kind of a cool one for me. I almost bought those War Mammoths. Greyjoy and Lannister. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Nifty. Well, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. One of the Free People and watch. Yeah. I thought I'm thinking maybe if I can find a good deal on the Free People, I might. Oh, well, I bought the watch. Yeah, I did. I bought the watch. You know the guy that bought the watch. Yeah, I bought the watch. I bought the Night's Watch. I didn't get any of the Free People, though. I just got the Night's Watch. There was, about a year ago, 2 years ago, I guess 2 years ago now, there was a half-price book over on the east side of Cincinnati that had like loads of Song of Blades and Heroes, but I was really watching my funds at the time, and I started like picking up. I wasn't really watching my funds. I was making good money still, and I walked in there and I was like, oh, they have all the stuff, and so I was like loading up just armloads of it, and it was like $15 for a booster, you know. It was highly discounted. And then I got to thinking, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to buy this right now. And didn't feel bad about it, so I put it back, and now I got something, and because when I was looking at, I was like, there's like I did this when we went to that convention in September, and I got the Night's Watch box and the 3 or 4 unit boosters. It felt a little more focused. I was a little more focused because I saw the starter kit, and I was like, well, I'll get the starter kit and I'll get these units. I wasn't just grabbing at things. When I was at that half price bookstore that had all those units, had all those boxes for like 12 to 15 bucks a pop, I was just grabbing, and I was like, you know what? Wait a minute. Let me set back. Let me put these back. There's really nothing here that I absolutely need. And I really didn't feel focused. It was just going to be like, oh, I know somebody would like to play this army, and I would like to play this army, and I know somebody else would like this army. You always wind up buying this stuff with good intentions, and then it sits on your shelf at home and rots. So, I'm trying to avoid that. I'm at the point. So this next year, the plan is, so this is the beginning of my next big plan for this channel. It's going to be armies. So armies that I have started building and haven't painted, I'm going to finish building them and try to finish painting them. Armies that I haven't built yet, I haven't assembled the figures yet, I'm going to assemble. I may not paint them, but I'm going to get them assembled. So this is kind of a plan. This was like, next year I'm just going to focus on finishing up armies that I can finish up. I got projects in the middle. I don't have any projects that I've ever finished though. I've only got like portions of projects that I've finished. So I want to finish projects. So this next year, the plan is to start finishing projects. Not buying any more until I know what I've got, where I've got those projects at. So like, war machines for dwarves. Well, I'm not going to buy a bunch of war machines for my dwarves, without knowing what I've got finished in my dwarves, which direction do I need to take these armies to finish them up? The only way I can do that is by finishing what I've got. So that's what next year is going to be all about. So, all right. So it is time to bug out here. And we are going to say goodnight to YouTube and Rumble. Remember, no matter how bad today was, the sun is coming up tomorrow and the world is a better place with you in it. Please stop by my Twitch page and make a donation for the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It would be much appreciated. It'd be great if we could reach $250 by the end of the month. This is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, so that's why I'm doing it. The last 3 months have been focused on mental health, and $250 is probably enough to get maybe 2 days' wages of somebody sitting on the phone, or maybe getting more material printed out that they could send out to somebody that needs some help. So the money's going to go to a good place. The goal is $250. Right now we are just at $91 thanks to DD Mini's donation tonight. So he stepped up, threw some in the pot. So now we are up to $91 out of $250. We're not quite halfway there, but good job, DD. Appreciate that tonight, and appreciate everybody who's made donations so far. So that is that. Remember, also, thanks for watching. Keep on playing.